It is such a privilege to have the one and only Ole Maiava on this Talanoa Therapy podcast. Thank you so much for your time and your heart for our Manukau community.
Tafte lava Moliava Noa, Shirl'e. It's really good to be here. My name is Ole Maiava. I am a senior placemaker at Ike Pānuku here in Tāmaki, Makaurau. So I've had the opportunity to work here quite closely in Manukau. I've just been finishing a contract with Auckland War Memorial Museum as the senior outreach programmer there, and part of my role was to bring the museum into South Auckland, and we did that at the local train station and had a space there for a couple of years where we were able to bring items that were at the museum into South Auckland on display. So it started in that process, and that's when I came across the Transform Manukau Advisory Group, and that was being run by the library, the Southern Initiative, Healthy Families and Ike Pānuku. And I was offered a contract to see if I could come in and do some placemaking here in Manukau for Ike Pānuku. So that's how it began. And so part of that role in terms of placemaking, what we do in the urban regeneration space is to try and find the voices you don't hear, especially about the built environment. So when you look at the place where you're living, how does that reflect the community that lives there? Well, Manukau's more of a concrete jungle. So you sort of don't see that there's mainly Māori and Pacific that live in this space. So how do we get those voices? And, you know, traditionally, with local councils and local boards, it's quite hard to get feedback from that community, you know, the voices that you don't usually hear. And that's usually Māori, Pacific, people undergoing poverty, you know, people just trying to stay alive that don't have the chance to be civic. So we try to find opportunities to get their voices, and we bring those voices back and we take it to our designers and our developers, and we say, this is some of the voices that we hear on the ground, and these are some of the things that are coming through, you know. So we test space. For example, you know, we've got a really cool park here at Hayman Park that's being developed. A few years there, while we were doing activations, what we do in an activation is we sort of activate a space, but we sort of don't try and tell people that we're there, we're just there. And what happens is we're capturing people that come into that space. So we know that those are the people that we need to hear from because they're the ones that are using this space. And so we give them these opportunities to tell us what they'd like to see in this space if they, you know, if they were given the chance to do that. Yeah, so we got a name change happen to, well, much better than Transform Manukau Advisory Group. We actually turned it into an activation group. So the group now provides all our activators, but it also provides the opportunity for feedback. And again, what I said earlier about those unheard voices, we get to hear some of these voices through our manutahi meetings. And manutahi is one animal that moves together. That's how the idea was born. We have grown now to at least, I think when we invite, there's just under 100 people that get invited. So we get a fairly good turnout. Some of the plans we've got going forward, we've got these containers, what we call Owaha Manukau, and they're sort of spread from around the CBD area, around the Civic Square. We have 3 nodes here, and then we have the other one that's over at Woody, and that's right by the Samoan church there in Trevor Hoskins. And each sort of container space has a theme. So the one at Woody is about our te ao, so we're always thinking about how we work in with the environment. One of our key moves, we have 5 key moves in this area when we talk about transformation. And that transformation I'm talking about is over, 20 to 30 odd years of transformation coming into Manukau. So there's a lot of change coming. And so for us, it's trying to herald or foreshadow some of that change to make sure that the voices that aren't heard are heard in terms of what the built environment looks like. You know, we've got examples of what that looks like already in the space. If you walk around the Civic Square in Manukau, you go down Putney, there's a whole lot of different lights down there that have designs on them. And those designs reflect the communities in the space, and they were delivered through Roots creative entrepreneurs, working with Meshed, working with Manurewa High School, and also working with Unitec architectural students, and bringing that whole group together, as well as the Southern Initiative, and they created the designs that are now on those light poles that reflect the communities that live here in Manukau. So that's just another example again of seeing yourself in the space. And so yeah, we get quite a few different groups like that through Manutahi. And these Manutahi groups that we have been using, we would then take them once they get better and better at what they do. We use them as mentors in other areas we're working, and we get them to mentor other community groups to come up to a compliancy that matches them. And then after that time, we move them out, and then we work totally with the local group, you know, because it's always about self-determining. We have other groups within Eke Pānuku that reach all the other voices, but our specific area in terms of placemaking is around that. You know, we need the place to speak for itself, and we need the people to speak for itself. So it's always about the place for us.
That's so amazing. You know, what I really enjoyed about those meetings is actually just connecting with each other and having that same vision. You know, we're all here because we all care about our community and, you know, shaping our Manukau, and it's amazing that you're part of that. Don't forget to keep it locked here at Le Talanoa with Ole and Shirl'e. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to show your support, share, tune in and listen to the whole episode, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and all podcast digital platforms. Follow our Manukau and Le Talanoa Therapy Show on Instagram and Facebook, and check out the Eke Pānuku website for more on Manukau.